Man, I seriously got to put some gates up on here to keep the riffraff out.
You don't ever know who's going to come pulling up.
Dylan and Robert out here graciously volunteered to help speed us up on our harvest. We got the equipment out here, just don't have enough bodies to sit in the seats. It's a good morning, go plant some wheat. Got 425 acres to go. The days ain't getting any longer.
I can't rag on Dylan because he doesn't know the fields, and you're supposed to do this one first.
You get everything figured out all right?
Oh yeah, wheat's rolling on now.
Really gonna make me chase you the whole 82 acres of this field?
Well, I haven't heard any chatter on the radio in a while. Either things are running really smoothly or things are going really bad and they don't want to tell me.
Hello?
Hey, go ahead and bring that fertilizer truck over here.
Alright, bye.
Bye. Tell you what, when you get on a big farm like this, say we were planting way back over there beyond that tree line, and you gotta come all the way up here to fill up a seed. Farms like this tend to take a little while longer. This farm right here is a little over 80 acres, so we came over here with a little bit in the drill, so to finish this farm up, we're going to fill up 3 times. This should be the last time I gotta drive from way back there to fill up. Next time I fill up, I'll be up here in this area a lot closer to the tree. No dents or scratches on it either. I'm gonna get him to pull it up here next to my seat and on the other side, and we'll fill it up. Push in the clutch and then hit the switch on the top right that says PTO. Top right of the dash says PTO. Here. All right, let off clutch. All right, Carter, ease it forward. Ease it forward. Good. All right, off for another 25 acres. So you're liking that integrated auto steer there?
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Kind of topping this buggy off. I like its adjustable sprout too.
I'm pretty sure we can figure out some way to rig up one of those on that old 9400.
Hey, Robert's coming to you.
10-4. Be easy, you got a pretty good load.
Apparently you haven't seen Matt Griggs load a buggy.
Uh-oh. Someone talking smack.
Well, we're to the point a good hard turn to the right good to probably roll some off.
I always like giving Kelly Griggs a good.
You're disgusting.
It's the man in him, he just can't help himself.
Work with children.
Yeah, it's pretty nice not having to listen to that steering wheel box chattering, ain't it?
Yeah, and I can sit up there and enjoy my nutty buddy. instead of having to try to hold one hand on the steering wheel and then in the other. I don't want to get too comfortable. Something will happen.
And Dylan talking about that integrated auto steer on the combine, liking it. I believe he runs the Trimble. I believe he runs the Trimble Easy Steers. Got the foam, got the motor up here on the steering wheel with a foam ball that actually turns the steering wheel rather than having integrated hydraulics. You know, we used to use a form of that. It was a John Deere ATU, which replaced the steering wheel and all this, and it had an electric motor in there. And you know, I mean, it worked okay, but I mean, you could hear it working. It just all day long got annoying, and it wasn't, you know, quite as accurate as what integrated auto steer was. You know, when we finally did go with integrated auto steer, I really liked it. It was a pretty nice upgrade, not gonna lie. But you know, with the tractors that he runs, you know, those 40 and 50 series John Deeres, you know, I don't think there's any way to actually put integrated auto steer on there, because a hydraulic motor there on the bottom of the steering column is what does the integrated part, and I haven't seen any way to put that on that old of a tractor.
Is there a screen in here anywhere, Matt, that'll tell me how many acres I've cut today?
Yeah, hit the back button to go to your home screen, and then right there in the center you got an icon that says performance. Hit that, and then down there at the bottom, I can't remember which tab it is. It'll be one over on the bottom, and you can like pick that farm and field, and it shows. You know, it'll show you how many acres and bushels you've cut off that farm.
That was 44 acres and 1,800 bushels.
Did you start there on the west side of the farm? I think there's roughly around 50 acres on that side.
Yeah, that's probably it, because we about got it cut.
10-4, pretty dang good, considering you didn't get started after lunch, and first time ever running that combine. That's some pretty good productivity on these short days.
Well, the limiting factor has been the terrain, having to slow down to let the header cut all the beans. It'll eat them about as fast as you want to let it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give that header an inspection this winter. There's just something about it just ain't quite jiving just right. I ain't figured it out yet. I don't know if I got some spring pressure wrong or a sensor or what. Oh, daylight savings time. No, not daylight savings time. Regular time sucks. Bring back daylight savings time. Full time. All year long. It's getting dark at 5 o'clock when you still got work in the field. It's for the birds. And now that our esteemed and wise government has seen fit to completely do away with daylight savings time, that means from here on out, we're going to have an hour less of daylight we're going to have an hour less of daylight in the evenings all year long. That means even in the summer when we're working till 8 o'clock. I
will say that. I love adjusting the chamfer and the seals up in the cab instead of having to get out and shut down and get your rod out and climb in the back and do it.
Yep, I'll definitely agree with that. As long as you got it calibrated right, it works real good. Like I say, even in the midsummer when it doesn't normally get dark till 8:30 or so, that means it'll be getting dark at 7:30. So could mean shorter days for us, or working while it's dark during the summer. Not only that, that means I'm either going to have to adjust my schedule. We start working an hour earlier in the day, which I don't really want to do. I'm not a morning person by any stretch of the imagination. It also means that it's going to be even hotter first thing in the morning during the summer. So instead of being 90 degrees by say 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, it's going to be 90 degrees by 8 o'clock in the morning. So all in all, bottom line, I was a big fan of daylight savings time. I enjoyed, moving the clocks back in the fall and forward in the spring. You know, when you move those clocks forward in the spring, it just kind of got you going. Yeah, it's time to get back in the field. It's time to go to work. Time to start putting another crop in. I always kind of like that. And then, you know, when you rolled your clocks back in the fall, it's like, you know, gave you the feeling, yep, it's time to wrap this year up. Start going home early when it gets dark. I don't know why they just couldn't leave well enough alone. So I'm just going to go ahead and go on record as petitioning Governor DeSantis, when you win the presidential election in 2024, I'd like that to be one of the first things you do is bring back daylight savings time. And to go along with those lines, get political just for a brief moment. I saw where former President Trump's supposed to announce here in a few days whether he's going to be running for the presidential race in 2024. And my personal opinion, and again, this is only my personal opinion, doesn't mean you'd have to agree with it. I'm not trying to pressure you or anything. I'm just letting you know what my personal opinion is. Just take it for what you want. But my personal preference is that he does not run for presidency again in 2024. I loved President Trump for the most part. When he was in office, I was a real big fan of his policies. I think he did a lot of good as far as policy wise. I think the country was starting to flourish. What I didn't like about him was, you know, he picked a vendetta against just about everybody. He definitely wasn't about bringing people together and just, you know, trying to pick fights. And it seemed like, especially there towards the end, his main goal was, you know, getting back at people that didn't like him or talked bad about him, or, you know, the news, all that kind of stuff, instead of focusing on the job of the presidency. That was my main gripe with him. But overall, I thought he was a very effective president, had some great policies. But my big fear is that if he, if he does run again, it's just going to be an amped up version of what the last 2 years have been, trying to get back at everybody that's talked bad about him, you know, claiming the presidency was stolen, which I don't think it was. I think in order for the 2020 election to have been rigged would have required way too many people in this country to keep a secret. As you well know, people can't keep secrets. I think a conspiracy of that magnitude would have required the involvement of too many people, and something would have leaked. You know, something would have come out. Now, that's not to say that I don't think that Democrats, or even for that case, Republicans, are above cheating to win. I don't think either group is above cheating to win if they can get away with it. I just personally, my belief is I just don't think enough people could have. I don't think enough people could have kept a secret in order to pull it off. To go along with that, there definitely were some inconsistencies that raised my eyebrows, but I don't think it was a mass conspiracy to steal the election. You know, if he were to win the primaries, be the Republican nominee for president in 2024, and then ultimately win the election, a lot of those policies that we liked in his first term, I think his main focus would be on getting back at people and hurting their careers. You know, it would be a personal vendetta trip, you know, for 4 years, and I don't think that would be good for this country. I don't think that'd be good for the American people. So, like I said, my hope is that he does not run for president in 2024. I think there's several other really good Republican candidates that I think could do a really great job at leading this country, getting it back on track, have good policies that encourage the economy, you know, hopefully lower fuel prices, and just basically make people more prosperous in general, as opposed to this administration right now. And number one on my list is Governor DeSantis in Florida. I've seen what he's done. You know, I've been keeping pretty close tabs what he's done in Florida. I agree with most, if not all, of his policies, and I think he'd do a good job. Again, that's only my personal opinion. You ain't got to agree with me. I encourage you over the next 2 years, as these future candidates emerge, and you know, President Biden, if he decides to run again, I encourage you to look at everything they've done, their whole body of work, what they stand for, and you pick the person that lines up with what your core beliefs are, and then you vote for that person, whichever party or independent it may be. Well, crap. I knew I screwed up playing off this Newfield got to the end, went to back up. I hit the button to raise my drill up, but for whatever reason, the button didn't work. So it backed up with the drill in the ground, and now I've got some holes in some seed boots plugged. I get to lay down on the wet ground and go dig them out. I got two right there, one right there, one right there. I think I got a couple on that side too. Luckily it's not all 32 of them. It could be a lot worse. Anyway, got the seed boot right here. The seed comes out there and got dirt plugged up in it. Yeah, plumb plugged full of mud. These seed boots work great going forward. They ain't meant to be running reverse. All right, let's try this, see if it works. Well, one of the seed cups is definitely cleared. Well, I think we finally got those seed boots all cleared out. I had to go back there 3 different times on one of them. It was giving me fits. But it definitely put a damper on my day. I probably spent close to an hour messing around with that. So I don't even know what time it is. I'm not even going to look at my phone and see what time it is. We're getting close to done with this farm, and then I still got one more drill fill up. I really want to run out on another farm before I quit and go home. Don't know what time that's going to be. It's definitely going to be tomorrow morning, I imagine, before I get done. But if I want to keep on pace, that's what it's going to take. I think old Dylan had a good time running that combine today. He texted me tonight and he said those Draper heads are the real deal. He might have made a mistake coming helping me. It might wind up costing him a bunch of money. I know after I demoed a Draper head, you know, right before I bought that 7120 combine of mine, I know after running it over several hundred bean acres, I said, I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know if I can afford it or not. Said I'm not cutting another soybean with a Case IH 1020 platform auger head again. I'm not going. I might not be able to afford a Draper this year, but I'm not planting no more soybeans, especially double crop wheat beans, till I get a Draper head on this farm. It was that big of a difference. I mean, it was night and day. Fortunately, after shopping around there quite a bit, I was able to come home with both that 7120 combine and that Draper head. Anyway, for those of you that are not familiar with combine heads, a Draper header, you know, it's got a cutter bar like a regular header, but then it's got side belts and a center belt, and the belts feed the crop to the center of the header, and then you got the center belt that feeds it into the header. Whereas a platform or auger head, instead of having those belts, it's got an auger there that brings everything to the center. Then it's got fingers on the center of the auger that grab the crop and feed it in. And well, you can imagine that a crop laying on a belt being pulled to the center is a lot easier on the crop, and the belts grab the crop better than what an auger head does if the you know, the crop's standing up against the auger. You know, the auger just doesn't grab the crop as well. It'll grab it, but just not, it just has to keep on rolling around and grabbing at the crop, bringing it to the middle. And then you got the reel beating on the crop as it's forced against the auger, and you have a lot more header hauls, but you don't have as near as good a uniform feeding, so therefore you can't run the combine to its full capacity because it's not being fed a uniform amount of material into the combine. But the real nice feature on the header that makes all the difference in soybeans, especially double crop wheat beans, is the ability to tilt that cutter bar up or down. See, on a normal auger head, you can't do that. I mean, the cutter bar shaves pretty close to the ground, whereas especially on these MacDon heads, you have the ability to raise that cutter bar up or down, tilt the head back or forth to get the knife off the ground a little bit, in some cases up above the wheat straw, and really helps prevent pushing up piles. And that's the biggest hang up on trying to cut double crop soybeans. You're cutting them late in the season when you got short days, generally a lot damper conditions, especially because you don't have longer days to dry the wheat stubble out, and the wheat stubble's half rotten, so you got a knife bar pushing through rotten and sometimes damp wheat straw, and it just doesn't want to cut good, and it just wants to bunch up into a pile, and it's a headache trying to cut that crop. But if you can tilt that cutter bar up above that wheat stubble up into a little bit drier conditions, the header works so much better. So Dylan, I don't know what you'll be able to find this winter. I hope you can find one that suits your needs, and you got one on your farm next year. All right, I'm hurting. I've been on this tractor now almost 16 hours. I am headed back to the shop. Didn't quite get done with this farm. I don't have enough seed to get done with this farm. We still got like 10 more acres. Didn't get my 125 done today. We got about 115 done, so that's just gonna have to be good enough. Say what time? It's about 12:45. Anyway, get back to the shop. We gotta, tomorrow morning, gotta get loaded up, finish this farm up, then get everything moved up to Madison County and have my drill empty by 11:30, because that's when Pioneer and UT's gonna show up, plant test plots, get those knocked out. I sure hope I can make it in time. It's gonna be tough getting up in the morning though, I ain't gonna lie. Well, you know how a lot of people say that, you know, God puts people in your life for a reason. Our farm this week, these few days, is, you know, perfect reason. You know, I started this YouTube journey. I started back in 2016, just doing mainly, you know, just harvest videos, set to music, just a couple of videos a year. And then, you know, right there after my combine accident, a little over 2 years ago, we started putting out videos full time, you know, when we actually got good internet and I could do that. And our channel's really taken off and had a great time doing it. But, you know, doing the whole YouTube thing is giving me an opportunity to interact with way more people than what I ever had the chance before. You know, we're just so busy, you know, socializing is very low down on our list of priorities, but with the advent of social media and then us being on YouTube is really opened the doors to meeting a lot of great people. You know, we saw yesterday Robert, Dylan coming down, volunteering their time. They're done with harvest to run my combine and semi truck where I could plant wheat but still be getting beans cut at the same time. But Robert and Dylan got something coming up this weekend that they got to attend to. They can't be out here on the farm. Hopefully, if everything runs smoothly, I should get done planting wheat either real late tomorrow night or first thing Saturday morning. Well, I got a message from Jesse Lampley this morning, you know, volunteering to come down and help this weekend. I guess he's off work, and he said his brother Alice could handle the farm, and you know, he saw on Instagram what happened to Kelly's hand and volunteered his time. So that's just going to work out just perfect because you know, Kelly's not able to drive the semi truck. Nate's not legally old enough to drive the semi truck. Kind of put us in a little bind, slow us down. You know, me driving the combine, because plus having to haul grain, because I don't know if Kelly with her hand would be able to operate the combine, because you do everything with your right hand, and that's the one that's injured. But anyway, Jesse volunteered his time to come down here and help us, so he should be able to drive the truck while I'm back on the combine. Kelly's in the grain cart, and we make a big dent on those beans. But those three people, Robert and Dylan and Jesse Lampley, yeah, I never would have gotten to know them if it hadn't been for YouTube, and then, you know, just starting to interact with them over the last couple of years. You know, us finding each other's channel and then messaging. You know, we're all from Tennessee, we're all doing YouTube, we're all row cropping. You know, it's just kind of natural that, you know, we get to know each other. You know, right when I started YouTube, I knew who Dylan and Robert was, but I didn't know them. You know, they're all the way up in Dyer County, you know, completely different community from us. I mean, I knew of them, but I didn't know them. And, you know, over the last couple of years, we've come to become real good friends. Of course, Jesse all the way over in Middle Tennessee, you know, I never would have even known of him if it hadn't been for YouTube. It's really funny how, you know, God makes things come together. You're gonna deal with a lot of difficulties in your life, but if you trust in him and you have faith, he'll bring things together for you just to make things work out. Might not be easy, but they're gonna work out. And just to give you an update on Kelly's hand, I mean, she's still in a ton of pain. I mean, literally can't use her right hand for anything. She's been toughing it out in the tractor yesterday and going to tough it out in the tractor as best as she can for the next couple days, running the grain cart. You know, that's one of the few things she can do with extreme limited use of her right hand. And tell you what, just can't say enough good things about what she's doing, toughing it out to, you know, help do what she can to get this crop out. There sure ain't many women, or for that case even men, that are made like that. And give you another update, while I've been planting wheat and Kelly and them have been out in the fields, you know, we haven't needed Nate in the field except to help move some trucks around, the seed, that sort of thing. So he's been working hard on getting the cotton picker cleaned up, because if we get done in time and I got the energy, we think we got a pretty spectacular Christmas display planned out this year, if we can find the time to make it happen. And it's going to involve the cotton picker, so we need it cleaned up first. So Nate's been hard at work, you know, getting it. It's real time intensive getting that cotton picker cleaned up, because first you got to completely pick all the lint off of it in that basket. It takes a while, but then you got lint everywhere else on the machine. It's got to be picked off. So it usually takes 2 to 3 days for one person to do that. And then of course it's got to be pressure washed, and the way I like things pressure washed, ooh, I got a wash to fill in right here. Anyway, the way I like things pressure washed, it takes a minimum of 2 hard days to get that thing sparkling clean. But anyway, that's all I'm gonna say about the Christmas. It may or may not happen. I'd give it about a 75% chance of happening right now, but we'll definitely be doing a video on it. And if you didn't happen to see the video of the one that we did last year, go back and check out a video from late November, early December of 2021. I think it's titled "The Epic Farm Christmas Display," and check out what we did with the combine and grain cart last year. But if we got the time, this was going to be even bigger and better than that.